I am ready, and we're already in, because in the upper right, for Mystery Gaming, in the red, one of the few players that has 2 words in their name, Nanami Chiaki.
Tournament live on the line for that man. Tournament live on the line for this man. In the bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of our Chinese Terran, who actually really entertained us with some fun games earlier in the group, but he's now in a bit of trouble. With a 1-2 record, he needs a win. He's the veteran. He's the only player with a 10-in mentality when it comes to the WTL Codex rankings. This is Invictus Gaming XY.
You know, Roddy, it's kind of fun as we look at this series here. We have not only 2 players that are 1-2, players with their tournament lives on the line here, but also players with very different backgrounds. Because XY, you talk about him, he's this veteran. He's this player, certainly veteran move going for the eBay block. He is this player that has this massive fan club in China that they were putting on all these events for him for years. He's got a lot of people pulling from in his corner. And on the flip side, Nanami Chiaki is rather new. He's much younger. He's new to the scene. We haven't really seen nearly as much of him. So it's going to be interesting to see, right? It does XY's veterancy, does the fact that he's seen everything 20, 30 times now, does that carry through? Or we're going to see something interesting coming out of the Protoss player.
And this is definitely one of these best of 3s where we can throw out some of the caster cliches because they matter, and that is where experience can really help him just a long way. For Nanami, this might actually just be like a very stressful situation where he's like, all right, kind of had high hopes coming into this group. Sure, I got a win over T-Bull. It's kind of funny, by the way, that both players have 1 win in the best of 3 in this group, and both of them beat T-Bull. But obviously, besides that, it didn't quite work out. He lost to Mio Maika, no shame in that. Also lost to Cyan, who I still think is one of the stronger players in this region. But these are the best of 3s, right? Where it's like, all right, XY is good, but I believe that if I am truly stepping up my game and I have the skills to make it into the playoffs, these really are the best of 3s that you're supposed to win. But that even brings like the extra stress along the way, right? Where it's like, oh no, now people really expect me to win. I'm supposed to win. As we've got Proxy Starport, by the way, coming out of XY here in game 1.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think this surprises anyone too much. We've seen XY over the course of this tournament really lean into builds that are, I'm not going to say non-standard, but maybe a little bit more out there. You know, proxy starports, barracks double gas factory ideas, things that open more aggression for him. And I think this is a great move if you're talking about a player who is new, who has not had to deal with elimination games really all that much. So you make him uncomfortable. You proxy your starport. You put 4 Hellions in a medevac on the other side of the map and say, hey, deal with this.
Yep, obviously losing in a depth, by the way, would be catastrophic, because as a Protoss, you already have very few units early on. Obviously, a lot of the units have a lot of HP, they deal a lot of damage, but you don't have too many of them. So if you lose one of them early on, you're going to have a very hard time cleaning up the Hellions. It's kind of funny, like some people like Oracles here, some people like Phoenix. I think the Oracle can be awesome, but it really needs to be in a picture-perfect location. And I do not believe sending your Oracle to the other side of the map. If you know it's Hellions, he's probably expecting double Hellion into Widowmine. This is a disaster, man, because sure, Oracles kill workers, but 4 Hellions kill them a whole lot quicker, Bio.
Yeah, I guess the little bit of copium is that there are Phoenix on the way, but they're not going to be ready in time. So the Adept is going to see the medevac going in, and just now the question is, how good are these probe pulls? So Adepts shade back to the main. It seems like there are actually 3 of them here. The workers, they're going down so quickly, 6 of them at the moment, and already it's found value. 8 workers go down. Oracle was recalled back home, and with a Phoenix here, that may show the end of this, but you're going to drop 1 more time? Actually, no. XY just backs out. He says, you know, I got 8 probes. It's kind of worth doing. I don't want to lose anymore.
Yeah, the Hellions are already kind of better than Bruce and probably feels that he's going to lose them. You know, it's going to sound kind of crazy, but I'm really surprised it was only 8 workers. Like, oh, yeah. I really feel like you're supposed to lose more there with the Oracle being terribly out of position. And when you said he recalled, I was like, I think it just flew home because I saw it turn around on the minimap. But indeed, he did recall it. And I was like, that's kind of weird because it was already on its way home. In the end, I don't think the Oracle really helped out in the defense at all. So at this point, we may as well... We could have rallied that thing to the other side of the map and at least get a couple of SCVs in return. But yeah, all things considered, I'm surprised it was only 8 because the Adepts are out of position. A single Phoenix doesn't do a whole lot. Oracle wasn't there. I really feel like that should have been at least 10 workers, if not close to 15 workers going down.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not going to say Nanami is in a good spot right now because he's not. Losing 8 probes like that, we saw him drop down below the Terran for a little bit. That's really not where you want. As I do like this, though, picking up the Cyclone, just buying a little bit more time. But now Cyclone's second lock on, and I don't like it anymore.
No, I was with you. I was actually following it. I saw you taking a look at the little main base. And at first I was like, oh, cool move, using that single Phoenix to lift the Cyclone. And then the Oracle activates Pulsar Beam. But then he just got a bit overeager. He's like, oh, this is going really well. But yeah, then the Marines show up. Then the second Cyclone shows up. And it just goes from bad to worse. Nanami knows that he is in trouble. He knows that he needs to buy some time, but this is not a great Protoss army to buy time with, right? The Stalkers, they don't have Blink. The Adepts are obviously always a bit slower than Stalkers. It's gonna take a miraculous effort not to fall apart here. The Stalker count is quite high though, so maybe with some great target fire and just threatening, posturing to be powerful. Seems that he has scared XY. Obviously lost a couple of units, but yeah, pretty well done to move out. Because if you just sit at home and all of that shows up at your front door at the third base, the tanks siege up, I mean, then this Nexus is dead. So good move out there on the Stalkers.
Yeah, although if XY keeps taking trades like that, you give him 10 minutes and he will win this game, right? That was a couple Hellions for a bunch of Stalkers, or a Stalker and a couple Adepts. And that will always trade better for Nanami. But you're right, he did buy time. Immortals are already on the way. If we don't have any yet, they're just about first one out. Blink very close to being done, and that is actually something we should talk about a little bit. The Twilight was done at a pretty nice time, Roddy. But because of all the chaos of the Hellion drop, we actually saw the Twilight upgrades get started much later than when the Twilight was done. So Nanami very realistically could have had that. He could have had Blink for that push, but again, you're worried about losing 8 probes, so fine that he, only so much APM that you have. But now Blink is done, or near about. Immortal is on the map here. That's a decent amount of Stalkers. Is this enough from XY to push through?
I don't know. I think it really comes down to where the tanks siege up and how well the Cyclones are protected. But these Marines have Stim, they have Combat Shield, and even +1 is halfway done. Stalkers are, and I guess I'm gonna get on top of the third base. That's nice enough, but he needs them at home. So recall number 2 of the game has been activated. But this is where the Stalkers couldn't do that kiting thing that they did before. And it's not just the 2 tanks, it's that Liberator from earlier as well. If Nanami cleans this up, I'll be very, very impressed, Bio.
Now Stalkers coming from the backside. They're looking for the reinforcements, maybe looking for those tanks. The problem is that Immortal, its Hardened Shield, was popped so much earlier that it really cannot fight. And yeah, there we go. Third base going down. Okay, so he recalls the Stalkers and immediately runs onto the other side of the map. If you're gonna do this, I feel like it's just worth it to never recall. Like, save that recall for later on, kill the third base, knock down the reinforcements, because again, you found no value from that recall whatsoever. It didn't even slow XY down.
No, I think at first he was like, oh, army, I have to recall. And then he's like, wait a minute, I can't fight that army. Let me just go ahead and counterattack once more. His battery overcharge has been activated. And if there was ever a fight that the Protoss was going to win here, I was going to say it is with battery overcharge. But even that Colossus cannot stay alive. The tank DPS and the Marauders in the mix as well. It's just all a little bit too much. Worker-wise, it still looks decent, but Nanami is in all sorts of trouble, and I'm sure he knows it. A 2-base Protoss without Forge, without any great upgrades, and now even an unpowered Robo is as good as that.
Yeah, and all the Stalkers that were on that run by, a lot of them have been dealt with. Charge is done in 20 seconds, but it's not now, Roddy, and that's the problem. Your economy doesn't matter either, again, if you just cannot fight that army. So the bio, I mean, it's very overstimmed. It's very low. But the Zealots can't really get on top of it. You run back into the tank range, the Zealots will fall. Hey, there's Charge. It's done. But at this point, there's literally like 1 Stalker on the map. There we go. XY looking very good here in his first opener.
XY looking good, but I look at that game and I'm like, with like 1 or 2 different decisions on the side of the Protoss, that could have just been a completely different game. He scouted with the Adept, and the Adept saw CC on the high ground, so very safe, quick factory, saw the reactor. Then you know that the first 2 Hellions are on the way, because the Hellions came out, they start shooting at your Adept. If you then save your Adept, you have to be thinking, like, is it a 4 Hellion opener? Is it indeed Proxy Starport, a very popular build in this day and age? He still went for the Oracle, which doesn't have to be bad because Adepts and Oracles can kill Hellions very quickly. But then the biggest mistake was just rallying that Oracle to the other side of the map. And then he was a bit indecisive, where he's like, do I send it in? No, I pull it back. And then he even recalled it in the end. And by that time, the Adepts and the Phoenixes had already taken care of it. And with taking care of it, I mean lose 8 probes, which still wasn't as many as I thought he was going to lose. Because I think I less for nothing.
Yeah. Unfortunate times, but I feel like we have to say at least a little bit that Nanami did look good in the opportunities where he was able to do something that he wanted to do. You know, the idea there was nice. Obviously, you're just a little bit too far behind at that point. XY had a good response. But, you know, I guess I would like to see Nanami play a game where he is able to play the game, you know, not just constantly reacting to XY and dealing with things that make him uncomfortable, but instead allow him to kind of play the game that he wants to play, not the one that XY wants to play. And then, I don't know, maybe we see a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just got to be a bit more decisive. And also, if we do invest in a Stargate, we make an Oracle, we make a Phoenix, we got to keep these units alive, or we got to double down and make more Phoenix. I mean, I'm not a Phoenix lover over here, guys. Well, I am, but that's not why I'm saying it. It's just, as a Protoss, you can't really open Stargate, make an Oracle, make a Phoenix, then lose the 2 units on the other side of the map for 3 SCVs and be like, I guess we play Colossus Blink. Because if that's the approach, then we may as well play Blink Colossus right off the get-go, and we save all that money on that Oracle, on the Phoenix, and on the Stargate bit. Let's see if Game 2 is going to be a little bit closer. I believe this can be close, but it's do or die for our Protoss. He needs to win here. If he does not win, he will be eliminated. The ESL Masters Asia.
And in the upper right, you say he's got a win or he's gonna go home, and he is Nanami Chiaki.
And in the bottom left side over Royal Blood, we are looking at the main base of the man representing that beautiful logo of Invictus Gaming, a esports org with a lot of history in Dota as well, not just StarCraft 2. This is XY.
For a time, they had a solid league team as well. I mean, just probably one of the more storied esports organizations that kind of exist, at least from the Chinese side.
Yep. For a while, they were absolutely crushing it in Dota. Like, I'm not a Dota expert, but I did watch TI a couple of years, and I know they won it once, and they often came in as the favorites. I think the last 2-3 years, it's been a little less, but I could be wrong, because I don't keep up all that well. I get most of my Dota info from Cats and the Muslim. Like, they tell me, and then I was like, okay, now I still sort of know who's good. And I did think it was very good that the Shopify Rebellion, obviously a team that's very near and dear to our heart, had picked up an awesome Dota team. That always makes me, just when there is a StarCraft 2 org that has a great Dota team, like Team Liquid as well in the past, that just makes me more interested in Dota. I know that's kind of stupid reasoning, because it's a great game by itself, but for some reason it just makes it easier to cheer for them and get invested.
No, I mean, you're totally fair. For the longest time, I was cheering on Evil Geniuses at, by the way, nice scout there, cheering on Evil Geniuses at literally every esport they were in, because, hey, you know, they supported StarCraft, and therefore, you know what, I support them everywhere. And then, you know, they no longer support StarCraft. They had all those issues, but, you know, I totally get where you're coming from, and I'm surprised you're actually not getting your Dota info from Skillus, because I have seen him online, like, playing Dota quite a bit recently. Like, it seems like the Liquid boys, the Liquid StarCraft boys have started to get into that a little more.
Yeah, they had the show match as well, right? The Chinese StarCraft 2 casters against the European StarCraft 2 pros, and they're all playing Dota. I think
carried by Scarlet.
Yeah, Scarlet is good. I know that. I think Elaser is quite good as well. I believe that he's put in some serious hours, and Skillus is probably getting up there. But yeah, we digress. It's a very important moment for Nanami. He needs a win here. He will go Stargate once more, and let's just hope for him that he gets a much better return of investment from that Stargate. The Reaper was stuck there, and we can take a look at the vision of the Terran real quick. But that Stargate should have been far enough away that XY does not know. It's obviously not the biggest deal in the world, but it's still nice, because this gives you the potential to either have an Oracle that deals a lot of damage, or maybe you bank up some Phoenixes, and then the Terran, because they don't know what's happening, will fly their first medevac to the other side of the map. And if they do that while you sit at home with 3 or 4 Phoenix, you're off to an absolutely flying start as a Protoss.
Yeah, I do like what we saw from XY. In the early game, we didn't talk about it because we were busy, you know, talking about Dota or something. But XY tried to make this look like this was a proxy. You know, he put his barracks, his factory, his barracks and his factory on the north side of the map, kind of on this idea that maybe Nanami doesn't check there. Maybe he just runs the circle around the main and runs out and says, oh, well, you got a couple gas, you don't have a barracks, clearly this is Proxy Reaper something, and maybe forces a Zealot out. Now, that didn't happen, but still a nice scout. Here's the Oracle and the medevac, they scout each other. So Nanami, oh, he's scared. He thinks this is the Hellion thing again, maybe. He's running right back home, and
yeah, but he should be scared, Bio, because the armory is close to finishing up. So we should definitely be scared, and he's probably picking up that he's like, that's a very early Widowmine drop. Doing this without an armory has fallen out of fashion a little bit, so I think it's very wise that he decided to bring that Oracle home. And now just let's make sure that he does not let too many Widow Mines burrow. I'd say a Revelation and Pulsar Beam at the same time. There it is, Pulsar Beam, Revelation. Very good defense so far.
Very good, but does he have any more energy for that? Okay, that's a great lift. Last Widow Mine looks like it will go down.
Don't
Move the
lose
Oracle out of the way. Okay, and there we go. Revelation gets one probe. You're right, Roddy. Excellent defense. There is one more Widow Mine that can maybe find some value. He's going to drop it right now, and there's just not enough energy for a lift.
Oh.
Okay, 5 workers. You know, 5 workers for 4 Widow Mines that have been armoried. It's unfortunate, right? Losing those workers at the end, but that's still pretty okay.
Definitely. I'm very confused about the double battery here. It's almost like he's reading this as a one-base all-in, as there is another Widow Mine drop coming. I think he's expecting the Thor follow-up, the one-base Thor follow-up, but that's not what it is, so the Void Ray is useless. We are going to take more damage from the Widow Mines this time around. I was with you, Bio. It wasn't all that bad, but it's the misread that's really killing Nanami here. As obviously wrong units, wrong buildings, and now a whole lot of lost mining time. He did not expect the second wave of Widow Mines. He expected the one-base Thor all in.
Yeah, certainly. And getting Void Rays now is just so... They don't give you detection. They really don't give you anything. So the fact that XY just has these Widow Mines all over the place. You can Revelate. Yeah, that's fine. But it's going to take 4 Revelations to kill 4 Widow Mines. And I don't know about... Oh, there's more. Okay, well, this Widow Mine is going to go off. Oh, it gets the Oracle. There's no detection anymore.
No, it's game over. There are cloaked Widow Mines over both bases. We are going to rebuild an Oracle, but it's going to take a long time. Nanami is just in all sorts of trouble. We've all been here. There is nothing worse than having a good old misread. He did not expect the second, third, and fourth wave of Widow Mine drops. He thought it would be Marines and a tank and a Thor attacking him right now. A Liberator sieging up. Poor dude, my heart goes out to him. It seems that this is going to be the end. He will have some revelations, but more Widow Mines will show up. And BL, can I just close my eyes and you tell me when it's over? Because this hurts. It hurts every time.
Oh, no. Oh, this feels so bad. 9 more workers go down. It's the end of the world, and Nanami does not feel fine. I mean, props to him for staying in. You know, this is elimination. If you lose here, you go home. You're no longer in the tournament. But, yeah, Roddy, I'm sorry. I got bad news for you. You can't open your eyes yet. It's just getting bad.
Tell me when it's over, BL. How many probes are left? Okay.
Oh, the Oracle's dead again.
No. No. Oracle number 2 dies as well. Nanami, mate, I love you, but let's go and wave the white flag. I know our tournament live is on the line, but you don't wish this upon your worst enemy, BL. Yes, he does manage to live one of the Widow Mines, but down 16 workers and still no detection. There are still some Widow Mines all over the place. Man, this boy is a fighter. He's actually going to go ahead and warp in the 3rd Nexus. Oh no, that Widow Mine is going to fire. I think there's still mines left over. Whoa, okay, XY with the reburrow means that he actually killed it there. But obviously there's still 2 mines left over. More Widow Mines flying into the natural. Make it stop. Yo, I can't take it.
I mean, you gotta ask the question here, right, Roddy? As we're sitting, just watching truly brutal destruction. Wow, words are hard. At this point, is it even, like, staying in here at this point, this has got to be harming not only your chances, I mean, you're out of this tournament, right? But next tournament, right? DreamHack Master, or excuse me, ESL Masters Atlanta, when we assume Nanami is gonna play in this again. At this point, like, this is causing damage to future Nanami, not even present Nanami.
Future generations, man. When his future son or daughter is going to play Stormgate, they will still think about this game.
Like, oh no.
No. It is all over, and obviously Nanami knows that deep down inside. Love the fighting spirit. Really goes to show, though, that these guys care, man. These games mean something to them. This tournament means something to them. Unfortunately, he had a misread. He wasn't ready for the additional Widow Mines. GG gets called.